Welcome to this episode of Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. I'm your host, Jen Matney. I'm a holistic nutritionist living on the South Shore of Massachusetts. I work collaboratively with individuals to identify their health concerns and create a personalized plan to begin their journey to health. I remain deeply committed to educating individuals on health-building foods and lifestyle practices that support their personal choices and well-being. In the Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast, I'll be focusing on the many facets of nutrition, food, health, and wellness, sharing information from my clinical experience, life experience, and what I'm currently studying. Let's go! Quickly, before we begin, please keep in mind this podcast is meant for educational purposes only and should never be used as a replacement for medical diagnosis or medical treatment. Any listener with existing medical problems should consult with an integrative, functional, or medical doctor. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. How is everyone? Again, life here is so busy. Things are moving so fast for Eat Positive, Be Positive, and I'm so incredibly grateful. Coming up soon, I'll be diving in a little bit more, giving you guys some more information about an upcoming holistic nutrition series I'm giving at a local yoga studio called Be Well Studios. I'm really excited about it, so stay tuned for more information. We'll probably be launching an open house somewhere in the beginning of April, maybe next week, and we'll be diving right in the second to last week of April. So I'm really excited, so stay tuned for more information on that. Now let's get right into our topic today. Today we're exploring emotional eating. We'll go into some reasons why we might be overeating, and we'll be exploring in depth some of the signs and symptoms of emotional eating, and how our habits can really lead to a continuous cycle of overeating. In last week's episode, I mentioned we would also explore healing strategies for emotional eating, but upon reflection, I really wanted this week's episode to focus solely on validating the stress and habits of emotional eaters. I find my clients or my loved ones or even myself at my really lowest times, I really struggle with the guilt and shame of emotional eating. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that feel the same. We're ingrained to believe our overeating is an inherent weakness we could overcome if only we were stronger or had more information, or were more structured, or any number of other things that would make us more successful. And I'm here to tell you that you are not weak, you are trying your best, and emotional eating is so hard to overcome. Many of the reasons we overeat are actually hardwired into our brains. As we've evolved as a species, our food chain has drastically changed, but not nearly as much as it's changed in the last 50 or 60 years. And hardwired into our brains is our need for survival. When you combine these caveman instincts with our changing food landscape and add in a generous dose of modern-day stress, you get the equation leading directly to emotional eating. We'll go into emotional eating and why we do it and how some of these external factors influence our overeating. And then next week, we'll return to this topic. We'll explore some healing strategies to manage our emotional eating, so stay tuned for that. Many of my clients report they respond to the stress of modern life by engaging in emotional eating, overeating, or binging. While this habit may take many forms, some individuals really feel a loss of control over what they eat. Put simply, Emotional eating is when we use foods to manage our feelings, as opposed to using food to satisfy our hunger. And emotional eating takes many forms. It really includes a wide array of symptoms. Typically, I might hear clients report they eat more when they're stressed, or they might eat to calm themselves. I also hear clients identify they eat when they're not hungry or keep eating even when they're full. Emotional eaters may use food and eating as a reward for achieving a goal or for some good behavior. I often hear clients state they feel out of control around food, or they crave specific foods they find comforting. And emotional eating can manifest as a mindless eating habit, or eating in such a way that you forget that you are in fact eating. And often, emotional eaters experience such shame, guilt, or regret after eating food. Now, some of you listeners might be asking yourselves why you overeat or emotionally eat. And it's important to remember this disordered eating occurs when we consume processed, hyperpalatable foods. Our food chain consists of these hyperpalatable foods in a way it never has before. And hyperpalatable refers to food pumped full of hyper-tasty fats, salt, and sugar. Our bodies and our brains, they respond to these hyper-tasty foods by rewiring our pleasure circuits. Foods have become addictive and have been shown to actually change our brain circuitry. Now, I'm sure everyone listening out there has experienced or has known someone who has experienced trying to remove an addictive food from their diet. Raise your hands if you've ever been in that situation. Personally raising mine right now. And this process can feel impossible. It can really feel like we're so weak to return to these foods time and time again. And we can easily feel shame, guilt, regret at turning to these foods and consuming addictive foods. So while we have to focus, and we definitely have to take responsibility for our food choices, sometimes the addictive nature of these foods can make this an incredibly challenging journey. Another piece to understand about emotional eating that can be really frustrating is when we indulge in more addictive foods, this can actually lead to more cravings. Emotional eaters will experience cravings long after deciding to turn a new page or create a new healthful plan. And every time we act on a craving to consume high sugar, high salt, or high fat processed foods, these hyperpalatable addictive foods just deepen our brain circuitry to seek out these items for pleasure. This leads to more and more cravings. And when we've started a new path to health, it's definitely understandable to slip up. Everyone makes mistakes, and new habits are really hard to form. The frustrating part about emotional eating is that once we slip up as emotional eaters, it becomes increasingly difficult to say no when we experience the desire to indulge. And having an understanding of how these foods really affect our ability to make healthy choices for ourselves can maybe relieve us of some of that shame and regret we might feel when we do stray from our chosen path. Now, while this may be obvious to some of you listeners out there who have experienced diet after diet after diet, some of you might be interested to know that diets don't really work in the long term. When we go on a diet, yes, we might have success, we might feel very excited, we might share it with our family and our friends and our loved ones, but typically diets can be so restrictive, we lose our ability to make choices when we have holidays together with our family or when we go on vacation. And when we restrict ourselves and we go on a diet, when we come off, we tend to overindulge or move the barometer back in the other direction. These diet plans increase our risk of indulging in unhealthy food habits. Now, we've explored this before on Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. Popular diet programs or fad diets can be incredibly restrictive sometimes. Words like limit, avoid, don't, or never can be a huge part of the protocol of these diet plans. Because of this restrictive nature, diets can often make us feel deprived or unsatisfied, which leads to an increase in cravings and indulgences. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we can stray from our chosen diet path and respond by overeating or abandoning our healthful choices altogether. When choosing a diet plan, I highly recommend speaking about your plan in terms of lifestyle choice as opposed to diet. I also recommend using my eating mantra of 85-15. If you didn't tune in last week, we explored the eating mantra 85-15, among other topics. Now, this mantra focuses on building a healthful lifestyle while consuming health-building foods 85% of the time, and reserving the remaining 15% for foods that might not be health-building. This remaining 15% might be comfort foods, or our favorite treats, or foods that we just generally have a habit of eating from time to time. By allowing yourself the flexibility in your lifestyle and not restricting yourself, you'll be more likely to achieve your health goals. I often hear from clients or loved ones, or even my own thoughts. Emotional eaters will often ask themselves or others, will my overeating ever stop? Once someone begins a cycle of overeating or emotional eating, often that stays with an individual for their entire lifetime. While we can make choices and evolve to eat a healthier, less emotional diet, we may feel the pull of addiction and cravings at any time. And the road to recovery is paved with good choices as well as difficult obstacles. So it's incredibly important to remember that lapses are expected. They're to be expected. In fact, we can use these lapses to reaffirm our commitment to health and to learn from our mistakes. Before we finish up for today, I'd like to say that emotional eating is not easy. Coming from personal experience, I definitely understand. If you feel like you need help, reach out to a therapist who can help you understand your emotions and cope without food. Reach out to a nutrition consultant who can guide you in eating foods to build your health and support your emotional well-being. And reach out to a fitness professional who can help you build a movement plan, increasing your endorphins and supporting your emotional health. You're not alone, and you can do this. So for today, food for thought is emotional eating. Now this week, we've touched on some ways emotional eating can manifest in our lives and affect our relationship with food. Now that we've explored these topics, does any of this information hit home for you? Do you experience overeating or emotional eating on a regular basis? And how do you manage your emotional eating currently? Next week, we'll go into some healing strategies to manage emotional eating. If this condition affects you directly, stay tuned for techniques to manage your overeating and build a healthier, more positive you. If you have a question you'd like to send along, please email eatpositivebepositive@gmail.com. Keep in mind, March is launch month for Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. This week marks a whole month of Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast, which is honestly such an amazing and surreal feeling. So thank you to all of you listening out there. Now that we're coming to the end of March, I'll be choosing a random winner to March's giveaway. I want to show my appreciation to all of you listeners out there with a whole month of nutrition meetings. I'm including my initial consult. I'll prepare an individualized diet and lifestyle plan for you, and we'll have 2 additional support meetings to explore any changes we might need to make to your plan or any changes we might need to make to support you in your health journey. That's 4 meetings for one of you lucky listeners out there to begin your health journey today. And it's really a small way for me to express my gratitude to all of you listening out there to Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. Before we go into how to enter the giveaway, I did mention last week that March 31st is the deadline for entering, but I'm going to go ahead and make today the deadline for entering this giveaway. I want to make sure that anyone who thought of this last minute has the ability to enter the giveaway at this time. So don't forget and miss out on this free opportunity. Take one small free moment of your day right now and enter. Here's how to enter. 1, subscribe to Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast. 2, share your love for Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast on a social media platform. And 3, review the podcast to send me some valuable feedback. Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast is now available on iTunes. And iTunes makes it incredibly easy for you guys to enter this giveaway. You can subscribe and review Eat Positive, Be Positive podcast in a matter of 1 or 2 minutes. It's really that simple. Then share your love on a social media platform that you like. And if you're sharing via Instagram or Facebook, please tag me so I can see all of your good vibes for the podcast. My handles for both is at Eat Positive, Be Positive. Entering the giveaway is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Subscribe, share, and review. And once you've done those 3 things, just send your email to eatpositivebepositive@gmail.com so that I know you've entered the contest. I'll be choosing a random winner this week and we'll announce the winner on next week's episode. Good luck to everyone. Thank you so much to everyone listening out there. Until next time, be kind to yourself, be positive, and be well.